Finding a co-founder is almost like getting married. VCs and investors are more and more bearish. It's not impossible to raise funds and for Mars, women are for Venus. Be laser focused on the mission, vision, and values. I generally don't believe in 50-50 co-foundership. So I think that is almost like the red flag to recover. Start dating, start collaborating, look into your own network.
Hello everyone, I'm Lana from the Top Voices, and today we have our great guest. This is Kar Cheng, founder of the Foundermatcha. This is an app which helps founders to get developers or technical co-founders. That's actually a very big issue because when you're at day zero, you have to find someone who will handle the technical part. So that's actually a big issue for everyone starts in a startup. So Kar, can you provide us some arguments for and against choosing a technical co-founder versus hiring a developer? What's better?
Okay, so I think it's the answer is it depends on at what stage your startup is at and what kind of person you are. So I guess there's a lot to be said for technical co-founders, right? And then I think that's there is a general kind of understanding and that having a technical co-founder or co-founder is generally a good thing. Now there's many kinds of instances where a technical co-founder, especially if you are an early stage founder at ideation stage, might not be the best thing, because there's also situations where a founder has already developed the business to a certain degree, and then somebody comes in as a technical co-founder. And I will take a step back and make it a more general argument. There is a lot of data and research and quotes from famous founders to suggest that finding a technical co-founder is is a super important thing. And finding the right co-founder has not always has something to do with complementary skill sets, but it also has more and more to do with being aligned on the mission, vision, and values and the style of working. So there's a lot of data suggests that the main reason that startups break up is actually not because of lack of funding or product market fit, but actually because of personality conflicts. So having that personality angle and that mission, vision, values element aligned is super important. Now, typically if you have somebody in your networks already that as a person, then that's probably, of course, the best way to start. But going out and finding a technical co-founder, there's a saying, the co-founder of Tinder, I forgot his name, he actually said, finding a co-founder is almost like getting married, because you need to be aligned on the mission, vision, values, and you spend more time with him, more likely, especially in the beginning phase, you probably spend more time with him than with your own family. I believe that's completely true. I've experienced that as a serial founder myself. And so therefore, if we take that analogy to the extreme, you could make an argument, if finding a co-founder is like getting married, then maybe assigning co-founder status from day one is almost like being engaged. And typically, if you stretch that analogy even further, typically if you want to find a partner for your business, maybe you should date first before you get engaged. If it makes sense. And so, and that's really what Foundermatcha was based upon, and that's the solution that we're building.
This is actually a great metaphor, especially for me, because I'm married to my co-founder. So we got married after 1 year of working together. Okay.
Well, that makes it even more complex.
Yes. Okay. What are the risks of not having a technical partner in a tech-driven business?
There are, of course, many instances in the past where a founder is able to get business validation and a pitch deck and fundraising in place without having any technical solution or prototype in place. Having said that, though, the market, I think that was more prevalent maybe 10 years ago, pre-COVID, pre all the economic downturns that we were globally experiencing. Generally speaking, VCs and investors are more and more bearish. They're more conservative, and they would like to see a prototype or MVP, the business being operational in some technical sense. They would like to see some proof of that and the proof of ability to execute before they put their money in. So that's why I would say it's not impossible to raise funds and to get your business started without technical, but I would say it goes against the conventional wisdom that is suitable to today's world.
Do you think is it easier to find a business co-founder or a technical co-founder, and why?
Right. So very interesting question, because finding a co-founder is already hard enough as it is. Yeah. And there's already a lot of tools out there that are co-founding matching tools. Now we believe that they are, they serve their purpose, but we believe that there's still a lot of problems that are yet to be solved. It's not addressing the problem for most startups in the right way. And why do I say that? Because a lot of them are co-founding matching tools. What does that mean? That basically means, in the analogy of dating and relationships, it's like you're supposed to go out into the marketplace and get engaged from day one. So we don't believe in that. In our app, we actually offer co-founding as an option. And it is, of course, something that the relationship can grow into, but it's not something that we assume that is always the case from day one. So that's the first thing I want to say about co-founding. The second thing is, your question is about business to business co-founding or business versus technical co-founding. Whilst there are a lot of co-founding tools out there, we believe that the real worldwide pain problem for the tech ecosystem to solve is for the non-technical founder to find his first software engineer to help him build an MVP. Yeah, and so we are basically laser focused on focusing that problem alone. And we believe that that is the real problem and the big problem to solve. And why is that? It's because for somebody like me, I come from an MBA background. It is not that even though I'm not a marketing person, it's not that difficult for me to get aligned and finding myself a marketing person, a product person, a salesperson to be my business co-founder. Why? Because generally speaking, we speak the same language and we basically hang out in the same places. But there's a saying in this dating sphere as well that men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Well, to make that analogy into the tech startup world, it is the business founder, the non-technical founder, he's from Mars, and the software engineer, she's from, he or she is from Venus. Why? Because they are culturally the furthest apart from each other. Their knowledge, skill sets are the most complementary, but also culturally they're the furthest apart from each other. They don't hang out at the same places. They don't online hang out in the same places. They don't speak the same language. So even when they are matched up, the fact that they actually have chemistry and collaborate with each other successfully, that is actually the harder problem to solve.
Great insights. Thank you so much. So, what motivates technical professionals to become co-founders rather than employees or freelance developers?
Again, it depends on the person. Now, I would say Foundermatcha is, it is based on the premise, and there's a lot of research to suggest this, that doing an entrepreneurship project, doing a side hustle, or doing a solopreneurship project, it will become more. It used to be 10, 20 years ago that socially and culturally, if you say you're an entrepreneur, it was basically another word of saying you're a bum and you're in between jobs. Yeah. Now everybody generally socially starts to accept that entrepreneurship is a real thing. And I think in the future, we're getting there very close culturally. And I think all the arrows point that we're going there, where entrepreneurship or solopreneurship or a side hustle, it's going to be more and more the norm, especially for the next generation, the Gen Zs and the Gen As. So I believe that a whole new generation of software engineers will get into the workplace, and they might or might not join a proper company and be a software engineer by day, but they will also do an entrepreneurship project on the side of that.
How can a non-technical founder attract talented technical individuals to join their startup vision?
The key to that is to be laser focused on the mission, vision, and values. And that's why we built our Foundermatcha with that focus. All the tools, conversations, and business services out there that are for co-founding matching or business person finding their first software engineer, it's all aimed at matching them based on skill sets, right? And so a lot of the conversation is about, okay, what kind of skill sets do you need? What kind of seniority do you want? And a lot of times, for early stage founders, they might have a good grasp already of what the business problem is that they are going to solve, and maybe they have an idea of what the ideal UX, the user experience, is going to be to solve that problem. But to make that technical translation into a product roadmap, technical requirements, that's something that that a lot of times they have not even they don't even know where to start. So we believe that to find the right founder, it should be, the conversation should not be about who are you, how much do you earn, what is your technical skill sets, do you know Flutter, do you know this, conversation topics that generally a founder is not comfortable in and having, which is why there's of course now a big recruiting industry there that capturing all the value. But the solution should be laser focused on, this is the problem that I see in the world, and I am motivated to solving it. And this is the way how I want to solve it from a business and a mission and values perspective.
What is considered a fair equity share for a technical co-founder?
I would say that is, I would not put a number on it, but I think there's research to suggest that generally speaking, when somebody has co-founder status, that person should at least have 10% of the equity. Now, I guess it all depends on the maturity of the business as a whole, right? So if you're already, if you're both starting really at ideation stage, and both partners have good significant input in forming that idea, then all arrows point out that maybe we're talking about an almost even split or something like that. But there's also many cases where the business person already kind of built the business plan, carved out the idea, already validate the business proposition, and already has like the UX almost like ironed out. And so now is somebody to help create that translation from business to technical. And then of course then there's that it might be a completely different matter. I generally think, my personal opinion is that I generally don't believe in 50-50 co-foundership, because I generally believe that there should always be, even though the relationships can be interpreted, whether the relationship and people's equal input is 50-50 equally, that is almost like besides the point. I always believe that it's good to have at least one person who is gonna be the go-to person when the going gets tough, like the real grinder and ultimately, I believe that and there's exceptions to the rule, but for most ships there should be only one captain when push comes to shove.
What are the red flags to watch when considering a technical co-founder?
I would say that's a good question. There will probably be plenty, but I think here's the thing. And this is also, for example, with my technical co-founder. When I found my technical co-founder, we were from day one, completely aligned on the mission, vision, and values. And whilst the technology, and I've already done quite a lot of work in building the MVP or the prototype, and whilst and it was already in a certain language, and whilst that person that I met was not well versed in that particular language, I chose him as my main partner for this journey. And whilst the journey was very tough and there was a lot of struggles because there was a long learning curve on his end, ultimately, because we were aligned on the mission, vision, and values, we stuck it through, and so we came out of that really with what is now grown into a very productive, healthy relationship, what I believe. Now, so I think that is almost like the red flag to recover, is his working style and intensity and the mission vision compatible to yours, right? I also believe that there's an element, maybe besides that, some smaller flags to look out for is if typically for an early stage of startup journey, the forming of the idea and the forming of the requirements should be a little bit of a collaborative process. If the technical person is very much like, give me the complete requirements from day one and just and then give me a month's time and I'll just code it all in one go, kind of thing. And let's not, and somebody who is like not keen of having lots of conversations, inputs, and back and forth for that, then maybe that person might not be the best co-founding material, because like any relationship, constant communication and constant pivoting based on the change of status quo is gonna be part of the journey, no matter how much work and how much planning you do beforehand.
How can a business-oriented founder evaluate the technical skills of a potential co-founder if they lack technical expertise themselves?
Yeah, so they basically the business founder wants to be better, well-versed, right? So he wants to learn. Is that the question?
Yeah, the question is that if I lack technical expertise, but I'm looking for a co-founder to join my project, I just can't evaluate whether are they actually capable doing it or not, or how can I estimate are they proposing good solutions for me or not? Are they just trying to do less work and get more equity or something like this, or are they really capable of doing this project in reality?
Yeah, well, if you're a non-technical co-founder and you want to be better well-versed in the technical sphere, well, then in a way you have a long road ahead, because the learning and in that realm is limitless. So my best piece of advice for that would be, if your goal is to find the right partner, and basically Foundermatcha is offering a bunch of tools in relation to that, is that you should start collaborating together. And very quickly, once you start collaborating together, you will be able to figure out what is his work style, can he really deliver, and do we understand the brief? I mean, there's a lot of research out there on, like, for example, Y Combinator and free videos out there that I think is worthwhile reading into. But having said that, though, I think there's an element about that. If you go too deep into it, it detracts from your focus on what your next goal is, and that is finding that software engineer or that technical co-founder to help you build it. So our solution to that is start dating, start collaborating, and basically once there's alignment on the mission, vision, and values, start collaborating, build something together, build maybe a prototype together, spend at least 1 or 2 weeks working with each other. You have already you will learn tons from each other, and also from the, you will also drastically increase your technical understanding of the business, and have clearly laid out the terms on, if it goes well, it will turn into maybe a co-founder role or an equity split or this kind of, this is what it could turn into, right? But right now, what we should do first is date and collaborate together on a mini project. So that would be my proposal.
What are the best places or strategies to find a technical co-founder you can rely on?
The best way is to look into your own network and even your extended network, right? Because there's an element about personality alignment. There's also an element about trust that needs to be in place, that once that thing is in place, then it would smoothen the collaboration smoothen the road to move ahead together. So that would be the number one way to do it. Now, what are other ways that exist out there? Well, you got the co-founding matching tool. Y Combinator has a very big and famous tool that is very good for purpose. A lot of people go on those job platforms like Upwork or Fiverr. And what a lot of people do is they hire somebody first to do specific jobs, and with the eye of potentially having that relationship grow into a co-founder kind of role. People can put on job ads. You can put up a free job ad on LinkedIn. You can put up job ads on job sites. Those are alternative ways for people to do it. We believe that for the bulk of the startups, what you want as a non-technical founder, to find your first software engineer with the eye of growing that into a technical co-founder role. And as far as we know, we're the kind of like the only platform and to really zero in on that project, on that problem.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Kar. Thank you for sharing your perspective on such an important issue for all business co-founders and even technical co-founders starting something from scratch. And this was Kar Cheng, founder of Foundermatcha, an app that matches founders and developers. And thank you so much once again for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.